Hey, good evening. What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of According to Sacha podcast. We're here with you on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we have so many guests that come on the show. We have entrepreneurs, motivational speakers, we have creatives, whatever it is that you're doing in business, you have a spot right here on the According to Sacha podcast. And I want to thank all those who have been watching, all the listeners for always being supportive of this platform. And thank you so much, because without you, we wouldn't be able to do it. So I do have a special guest tonight, and I'm waiting for her to drop in. But if not, then I will play a very special episode that we have ran before. And yeah, you're going to like this if you want to learn more about crowdfunding. But I just want to have an opportunity to say hi to everyone. We are in our 5th season of the According to Sacha podcast. We've been so successful with all our guests, all our viewers, all the downloads, all the shares, everything, all the likes. And I thank you for everything. But I got to go through all the run through, right? So you see it all that on the bottom. Definitely like, follow, and share. Like, follow, and share all of our platforms. We are on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. We're on Spotify video. What else are we on? We're also on Vimeo too, you guys. I got to add that to the list, but we're on Vimeo. We're on, I said YouTube, and we are also on iHeartRadio, Amazon, all that. We're there. So I do want to put a small disclaimer out right now. So I was recently in the DR, and we went ATV riding, and I had an ATV accident, and I did hit my head. So if I'm talking and I seem a little off, my speech is still a little off from my accident, but I am well. Everything is good. No broken bones. Found I had a fracture in my shoulder. However, I am good, you guys. So thank you for everyone who have seen my post about everything. And thank you for all your prayers, your love, support, and well wishes and speedy recoveries. I really appreciate you guys. But why am I always in the DR? I know some people are always asking me. So I do have a client, Real Estate Ladies Rock, who are having this amazing, big, major event at Club Med Miches in the Dominican Republic. So I'm back and forth because of business and getting that event right. So in that way, everyone can have a wonderful experience in September. And I'll have more information coming, because you can come too, right? So I have more information coming, some video promos, and Real Estate Ladies Rock will be a sponsor of the show as well. And so that will be coming forth, so you can see what I've been working on with this event, but also see how you can be a part of it too. Now, it is like I said, it's a Real Estate Ladies Rock group. However, it's for anyone who wants to go. So if you are in real estate, then you want to come and network with other agents, loan officers, investors, anyone that's in the whole real estate market, and whatever it is in the capacity, you can come to this event. You can also bring your family and friends. So, we're at a resort. It's a retreat. It's a conference. It's a destination event down in the Dominican Republic. So definitely, I'll put out information. Follow me on my pages, Instagram and Facebook, Sacha Walton, and you will find all those details, or just send me an email or DM me, and I can give you the information. One of the highlights of the event is learning how to invest in property down in the DR. So if you're looking for opportunity, if you're already a real estate investor, and you're in the Airbnb space here in the States, and you're looking to do something international, it's over 7 million tourists that visits the DR. So having somewhere that is constantly flowing with tourists, and they have that season, there's no down season, particularly because of the tropical weather and stuff like it is here. So if you want to get into that space of real estate investing in the DR, you definitely want to come to this event, because we will have a special tour to view some properties, as well as the workshops for that too. So if you're in real estate investing, or if you're not and you want to dip into it, if you want to look into the Airbnb space, all the other stuff, and see how you can do that, then you could definitely be a part of this event. And like I said, I will provide more information, more details about it. And that way you can be a part. So that's one of the reasons why, or the primary reason why I'm always in the DR. And of course, when you're working and you have your own business, you can make it a workcation if you want to. And so, hey, I always make it a workation. But anyway, but like I said, if my speech is off anytime during the interview, I'm waiting for my guests to show up. But if not, I'm going to play a video of a previous interview that I did with Dr. Letitia Wright. She talked about crowdfunding. We're actually supposed to have Teresa Lasley with. She's the founder of Instructional Gym. However, we know that things do happen with people's schedules and all that. But you know what? We're here and we're going to be prepared for something else. Letitia Wright has an amazing presentation about crowdfunding and how you could do that with your business. So you'll definitely enjoy this episode of According to Sacha podcast with Dr. Letitia Wright. So I am not going to hold you guys up any longer. I know we just have to reschedule Teresa Lasley. However, enjoy this. Learn about how you can do some crowdfunding for your business. A lot of times people talk about, hold on, I'm just going to use this as my segment right now. So when we come down to business, everybody, I'm not just a podcast host. I am a business strategist and coach, and I work with clients. I work with people, and I help entrepreneurs start their businesses as well as the growth strategies to grow your business. If you're looking to pivot and you're stuck in anything, we pivot your business, but we have that superpower in connecting the dots in the strategic process to help you go to the long haul with your business. And so we can talk about more of that later. But what I want to say is a lot of times people talk about finances, wanting to get funding for the business. And we're always looking at, what loans can we go after, the grants that we could go after, using other people's money with the business credit and all this other stuff. And I'm going to say this, if you don't have a financial plan included in your business development plan and your strategies, then all that money that you're getting is going to go to the wayside. All that business credit, all that other stuff, it'll go to the wayside if you don't have a true plan for you to really, execute, and to make sure that those finances that you are getting in to support your business, that you have the clientele to help keep that money flowing through your business. So in that way you won't have debt. Okay. And so that's that is my $1 million worth of information I could give you right now in this, small amount of time. But crowdfunding is a great way of being able to bring money in with no strings attached. You could be creative with it as a business owner. A lot of times we look at crowdfunding, when somebody wants to do a GoFundMe for the family and all this other stuff, or we look at it from a perspective, from a creative perspective, and we'll say, okay, well, let's do crowdfunding because I have this book, or I have this comic series, or I have, this music that's coming out. But if you're a straight up entrepreneur, you have products or services and stuff like that, and you're looking to bring money into your business without having strings attached, without having to pay people back, without having to have investors or loans and all this other stuff, crowdfunding is definitely a way to be able to do that. And then you can still be engaged with those who can be potential clients, potential customers. And then you can engage with those who are, or you be creative in engaging with them to, help, do the exchange, whether it's a free service, whether it's a free product, however it is, and just be very creative with it to bring in that money. So that's what, Dr. Letitia Wright talks about. And I'm going to play that episode from last season, season 4 right now. And on that note, you guys, I want to have a wonderful day. Watch this interview, and I will see y'all soon. Dr. Wright, how are you?
I am wonderful. Can you hear me okay? Everything's good?
Yes, everything is wonderful. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. I so appreciate getting to spend some time with you. And I want to say congratulations on your book. Bravo. And on your DR event. I think that is really beautiful and really important to celebrate your wins. And so I just want to say congratulations and keep up all the good work.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And and I just want to congratulate you. I mean, I was looking over your bio and everything, and you're just a powerhouse. And I just love everything that you're doing, and I just can't wait to dig into it tonight. And before I get started, there's one question that I always ask everybody on my show. Who is Dr. Letitia Wright?
Well, that is an awesome question, and people don't ask me that, so I cannot remember being asked that. So that is an awesome question. Who am I? Who am I today? I am a talk show host, a television producer. I have my own Roku network. I am a crowdfunding expert. I'm one of the top 100 crowdfunding experts in America today. And I am also a growing philanthropist in the area of the unhoused. This has been something that has actually been brewing for quite some time. I've been doing it for a long time, assisting friends. I have two very good friends. One has been doing homeless work for years, and I would always help. And the other one introduced me to doing homeless work with youth, which is completely different. And these two women have really mentored me into becoming an arm for assistance for children and adults who are unhoused at this time. So I am a person who I love life. I love to travel. I've always got great travel stories. I just got back from Columbus and I have great travel story about that. But I love communication. I love people being able to tell their story. And I'm a person who wants to facilitate you getting it out there, whether you need money or you need a platform.
I love it. Platform and money together. Those are the best two options because, you have a lot of business owners today and it's like they look at one thing over the other, but you really do need both in order to really excel higher. And that funding and visibility is a power component together. So, how did you get started in the whole crowdfunding?
Well, crowdfunding was just getting started. This was back in 2010. And I had heard a little bit about it. And we were if you all were in business back then, it was tough. We were in a recession. It was really hard for entrepreneurs and business owners to get loans. Money was very, very tight. It was really tough. So what I did is I heard about it, and I watched a friend of mine who had a book that he crowdfunded. So my first experiences with crowdfunding a book. And so he called it a pug named Fender. And I watched his entire process and it clicked. It was like entrepreneurs need to embrace crowdfunding because it's a way to bring money to the table for yourself without getting a loan, without worrying about qualifying. It can bring money to your project no matter where you are, if you're still in the planning session, whether you've still got something going, whether it's going full force. You can utilize crowdfunding as a way to bring in cash. And I just thought this is something entrepreneurs need to know about. And so there were 3 books out when I first started, and I wasn't the author of any of those books. And so what I did was I called 3 business friends, and this is what I said. So I call you up, hey Sacha, how are you? You do good? Hey girl, I'm working on this thing called crowdfunding. Brings money into your business. I'm just learning how to do it. We've been friends for a while. I'm not here to rip you off or make you look bad. But will you allow me to do some crowdfunding for your business and get some money to you? Would you be cool with that? I'm just gonna tell you, I'm new, but I'm really learning a lot. Would that be cool, Sacha?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So I said that, and I got 10 people to say yes, indeed.
Ooh, there
so,
you go.
so that's what it is. So I did 10 crowdfunding projects for other people. 6 were great. 4 crashed and burned, and you can still see the smoke from here. It was bad, but I had notes.
Yeah.
I had all of the ideas and the learning experience. And while I did go to some other people's classes, I knew that they had never actually done crowdfunding because they were talking about things that didn't matter. I sat in a class that was sponsored by the SBDC, and the woman was saying how they will check you out and they will do this and they will do that. And I said, none of that happens on the platform that you're talking about, not any of that. And so I began to be able to hear and learn who's talking from, that whole theory that if you're, study for 10,000 hours, you're an expert. Well, you have to actually do some things too to be a true expert, because in the experience you're going to come up against things that are not just in the books that you read. Everything is not in the books that you read. And so I began teaching. I called the SBA and I said, who's teaching crowdfunding at the SBA? This is the SBA in Los Angeles, Glendale office. Shout out SBA. And I I said, who's teaching crowdfunding? And the woman said, what's crowdfunding? I said, I'm teaching crowdfunding. When do you want me to come in? And I started teaching crowdfunding classes.
I love it.
I did this for the SBDC. I also teach for the SBA in Las Vegas. So I love having out next month. Matter of fact, I'm going to be, I think it's April 4th in Las Vegas. I'm going to be teaching. It is online. So anybody watching here they don't have to be from Las Vegas. They can, just tune in and register. And so I started teaching entrepreneurs about crowdfunding because I felt like, oh gosh, this is really something you can do. I raised money for my own book. It was called A Crowdfunded Life. And it was about crowdfunding to get people started. Most of the stuff I learned back then is very antiquated. I was doing crowdfunding before our great President Obama signed it into law. That picture of him signing it into law took crowdfunding to a whole new level, and it has not looked back since. So I've been doing it for quite some time. I have a lot of experience. And so I do a lot of consulting with people, walking them along the path, and really just making sure that you don't step in the holes that I stepped in. I can tell you how to walk that minefield because I know where the bombs are.
I love that you found that missing component, between entrepreneurs and crowdfunding, because a lot of times people will always want to bootstrap. It's either you're able to get funding or you're not. And sometimes if you're not, you have to pull from your employment, or you have to bootstrap and anything. And a lot of times entrepreneurs aren't creative in that space of building funding on their own, unless they go into the crowdfunding. And by you connecting the two together, that's awesome, because usually crowdfunding was always known for something for creatives. And
Right,
so,
it's known for creatives, but I mean, right now you can do it to raise shares in your business. You do not have to be a creative or a service. It works well with creatives, but what people were really missing is that the way that people raise money for the new coins, the Bitcoin, that was crowdfunding. So when you're thinking about, oh, it's going to be, $2,000 on GoFundMe, I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about people raising millions and millions of dollars. I got to go to President Obama's he used to do this entrepreneur conference thing, and it was around the world. The last year that he was president, it was in California in Stanton. And so one of my clients got to be a speaker, and I got to go as press and as, kind of like in her little camp. But she was from the college, so they, wanted her to speak. She had raised through crowdfunding almost $250,000 for a game called Goldie Blocks. And this game was to get girls interested in engineering and all this kind of stuff. And so there is such a place for it. And I'm telling you, when President Obama came through there, it was like he was a rock star. There were entrepreneurs literally from almost every country in the world there. A lot of them were very young. The ones in the top rafters were screaming, "We love you!" Like he was a rock star. It was freaking amazing. But all of these really large companies were there. PayPal was there. Just like a lot of, Blackstone was there. It was a lot of companies there. And so it was very, very interesting to see the tech that they were coming up with and the just experiences that they were creating, and the teaching that was going on was amazing. And crowdfunding is definitely part of that. People just are missing it. And if you needed to bootstrap and you didn't have a boot, crowdfunding was what you were supposed to do. Because it's okay to bootstrap, but some people don't even have a boot. So now what?
Right? Exactly. Yeah. So what are
it doesn't matter. Crowdfunding.
So I want to say this real quick to everyone. So people right here, right now, if you have questions, this is the time to ask. I will have Dr. Letitia here because she's been doing this for a while. You are a pioneer or a trendsetter in this and a trailblazer, because you're just breaking down the doors, knocking on the door, SBA, like, oh no, like I'm here. Now you're going to teach it. You're going to have this. And you've been doing that. So that is so amazing. And so what would be like, if somebody wanted to get started, what would be your top 3 tips?
So my top 3 tips on getting started is to, number one, understand exactly how much money you need. People try to go into this open-ended crowdfunding, and you don't want to do that. You want to say, I need to raise $25,000 in the next 90 days, because people like the end. We've all had stories read to us when we were small, and we like the end, time to go sleep. So they want it to start and they want it to end. So don't try to do this perpetual is going to be forever and all this, because you can crowdfund over and over again. It's not like you did it one time, now you can't do it. You can do it over and over again. So you're not going to be shut out of anything. So number one, know exactly how much you need. I start with that. People come to me, they don't know. Oh, I need about $5,000. Okay, good. Itemize that for me. They can't itemize it for me because they never sat down and actually figured it out. They're just guessing, because you don't want to wind up short, right? Having too much money is a great problem, and having not enough, we have to make an alternate plan. So number one, know exactly how much you need. Itemized. Nobody's going to come up with a 500.00 number. You're going to come up with 5,122 and 85 cents. You're going to come up with some real numbers when you really figure it out. Number two, decide whether this is your business, your hobby, a personal thing. Like, we need to know what you're doing. You can crowdfund for a hobby. Hey, I'm just having fun. There's a thing called Maker 100 in January that Kickstarter does. And you could say, you're a writer. You could say, you know what? I'm making a special edition book. I'm only going to make 100. If you want one, this is what it's going to be about. Pay for it now. You'll get it in March. And so, boom, there you go. It's just 100 books. So you know exactly what you're doing, exactly what it costs. Oh, this is your business. So for you, it would be business, but it could be a hobby. It could be a personal thing. Now, I do not work with personal raises. I only work with business. So what I'm going to tell you guys and what I'm going to educate you on is really about business. If you have a personal raise, we can have a private conversation about that, but I don't do that because I can't verify that people are in the trouble that they're in.
Right. Yeah.
I am a physician. That's why it's Dr. Wright. I am actually a physician. And I had someone come to me and say, hey, I need your help with this crowdfunding. Here's my wife's x-ray. She's got this cancer. I'm trying to raise so much money, blah, 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 blah. I said, honey, I'm looking at the x-ray. If your wife has cancer, that's not her x-ray, because that's a healthy person, because I can read x-rays. So, you can't always verify when people are pulling a scam, especially if it's medical, because you do not have the right HIPAA laws, right?
Yeah.
You do not have a right to get into their business like that. So I stay away from personal stuff, and I just go with business, because I can verify. I can verify your business. I can check on the book. I can do all those things are out there. Right. I can verify that you are who you are, and that you're going to do. I can't verify that you're absolutely going to do what you're going to do, but you're most likely going to complete it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so the key to this is having a strategy and a plan. Absolutely. So when you're able to itemize, you got to have that business plan. You got to know exactly every I to dot, every T to cross, in order for you to understand, that financial aspect of that business plan. And crowdfunding could be a perfect match.
Right. And the thing is, for most people, if you're not doing crowdfunding all the time, bring in an expert. I saw this post that said, I've prayed, I've journaled, I've, sat with God, I've got the vision, and now I'm going forward with this crowdfunding. They have every expectation for it to be super successful. Not once did they check in with a professional.
Yeah.
So you're going to do everything else except work with a pro that can help you immediately? That makes no sense, people. You got to be willing to find a way to find the money to work with somebody who knows about it. That's an investment in yourself and will help you be moving forward.
Yeah, yes. I mean, that's perfect. You guys, you heard it from the crowdfunder herself, the perfect expert, that you have to have that plan and strategy, and it's good to have the vision, because, a lot of times we are teaching about, your vision books, your vision boards and things like that. But in order to have that vision to go forward, you got to have the plan to support it. And when you have the plan to support it, and then you could go in and say, okay, what is the financial part that I need? You could throw in crowdfunding. Go there first before you try to go after business credit. And, if you can't get the loans, well, really go after crowdfunding before you do the loans, because you could have a debt-free business as much as possible.
As much as possible. Now, there is a type of crowdfunding where is equity crowdfunding. There is debt crowdfunding. That's a little bit different than what I'm talking about in pre-sales. However, it is possible to not go into a whole bunch of debt. And the thing is about crowdfunding is that it's awesome on the feedback. I love authors, so I'm going to stay with authors. My grandfather was an author, so I literally wouldn't be here without authors. So I'm always here to help an author. Here's the thing. When you're getting together a book, now you're quite experienced in this area, so it's probably not a challenge. But for others who are brand new, you don't know if that book is going to sell.
Right.
So how about we figure that out before you take time to write the book? How about you get paid to write the book? How about that? You keep saying you want to get paid to write. You want to get paid to write. You don't have to wait on a publisher, baby. You got the power right now to get paid to write today. So all those people out there, I'm trying to get paid to write this. So GP chat is here to no you. Because guess what? They can't hire a GPT chat.
Sure.
They can't pay GPT chat to come speak at events. They can't, at least not yet. Right. So stop whining about, I don't have money to do my book. Crowdfund it. Because here's the thing with crowdfunding, I tell you, if you can't sell your book before you write it, you won't be able to sell the book after you write it. Back in the day, people used to write books, their self-published book, and then they'd have 5,000 books in their garage, and they'd be trying to sell them. True life story. You will not believe this, Sacha. You're going to blush. Blush when I tell you. I was at a best friend's wedding. Her son's getting married. Beautiful wedding. You know how everything is just really great.
Yeah.
Great. And we have this one friend we all know. And I see her talking to people. And I see her going to her car, and then they come back. Okay. Time goes on. I start seeing her book around at people's tables at the reception. So, being the nosy person that I am, I went up to this one couple, and I'm like, "Hey, what are you guys doing? What do you do?" I knew she'd written a book, but what it was is she had a ton of these books sitting around, and she was trying to sell them. And so they were like, "Oh yeah, we bought the book from her. She was telling us about the book, and it was $10. I had $10 cash, and she's like, I don't think she has gas to get home. I'm like, she sold like 50 books. She got gas to get home. But people were not paying attention. They were into the wedding reception. Right. And so when this friend we all know was like, hey, I got my book, $10. So they're like, okay, here's $10 to you. So you don't want to be that chick at a wedding reception peddling your book. I'm just telling you, the look was bad. That is bad. Other than that wedding was beautiful, amazing. It was one of those California days where the weather was beautiful, the view from the venue was beautiful. It was just a good time, and nobody really dwelled on it, but we all saw it and we all talked about it later. And of course, I'm still talking about it now. So you don't want to be that chick. Get paid to write your book. You can test and see if people are going to buy your book. If you can't sell it now, you won't be able to sell it when it's 500 of them in your garage. So maybe you need a different topic. Maybe you need a different character. Maybe you need a different title. Maybe your title is boring and the book is exciting, but your title is boring. Like, there are just things you need to do to market your book, and you can fine tune all of that before you spend all the money of self-publishing.
And then you could be creative with the engagement process with the crowdfunding. So I know I had a cousin, he has a comic book line, and he was doing crowdfunding, but he really engaged people, like as they followed, as they kind of joined in, they were part of the creative process. So you can definitely weed out a lot of those things if you have that engagement. And then when people feel engaged, they're more inclined to promote you. So it's like serving so many different purposes right there. And so you're still bringing in money.
And you're still bringing in money. You're right. You get to totally engage your tribe. You get to totally look at, my friend that was writing the book, he already had an online comic. The Pug Named Fender was an online comic.
Mhm.
And so he wrote my dog into some of the the panels and stuff. And so he was turning all of that into an actual book because his dog, whose name is Fender, and he is a pug. He was a pug. His dog passed away. And so this was sort of a tribute to his dog. So in the comics, his dog is very much into hip hop, and he has these conversations with Lettucey and this person and that person, and all these names that you would know. He got permission to put them in. He wasn't just drawing people, but he got permission. And so there was a lot of engagement, a lot of fun around it. He started with the campaign. I don't know if you remember, there used to be a commercial. And the actor's first name is Mustafa. He's a very handsome man, and he was like, "I bet you wish your man smelled like me." That was like,
Old Spice.
like,
Yeah.
Old Spice. So he kind of took a riff off of that, and it was like, "A pug, you wish your dog was like me," and he's standing in the shower with his little bottle of dog shampoo. Anyway, it was a lot of fun, a lot of engagement.
I love that. So, what would be the main platforms that people can really use in that?
So there's over 5,000 live legit platforms to use.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what type of crowdfunding you want to use. So you have a lot of options, okay? GoFundMe is for personal tragedies. Burnt up babies, crashed up cars.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't want to put your business on there because it has the vibe of desperation. And that's not where you want to come from. You want to bring people on your crowdfunding adventure. It's going to be a fun adventure, and you want to bring them along for that. So I don't recommend people go there. I recommend they use their businesses and use, you can use Kickstarter. Kickstarter is the biggest website. They process probably $2.5 million a day.
Ooh.
But the oldest one is Indiegogo. That's the very first site. Okay. So it depends on what you're doing. If you're selling shares, you have to be on an SEC regulated site because there's certain laws that have to be followed, and you can sell shares of your company and therefore raise money that way. Mm-hmm. If you're doing something like a pre-sale, there are just a lot of different sites you can use. So I don't want, it's not a Prince Charming, like this is it and this is the one. There are so many different sites. You have to look at things like, will your tribe be able to use this site? Kickstarter and Indiegogo are very sophisticated. If your tribe is going to be thrown off by a bunch of other buttons and other things, those might not be the sites you want to use. There are other sites that are super simplistic, and you can get people to do what they need to do. So you got to consider your tribe. You've got to consider, are they doing what you do? There's a crowdfunding site for children called Piggybacker, and Piggybacker helps children and special needs children raise funds for little business ideas that they have. But they also have some built-in protections because, as we know, the internet is not the safest place for our children. They have built-in protections set up to kind of make sure, other things are not going on. They're not healthy. So a lot of these different sites have a lot of different features that you need. You don't need extra things like there are some sites that are really just MLM. You get people on here and you get people to sign up and then you get this money. I said, well, I told one guy, I said, there's not really crowdfunding because you're spending time trying to get people to sign up for the site, not give you money for your project. Why would you spend money building that when you're trying to build your business? So you have to be careful about people adding extra things that you don't really need. You want the least amount of friction between you and the person giving you money.
And this doesn't include OnlyFans, right?
No, OnlyFans. I love OnlyFans. And OnlyFans is not really crowdfunding. You're really just getting paid for services.
It's services. I just had to throw it out there for kicks.
Yes. But and I just want to say hi to Ian. Thank you so much for that. Ian Levine is giving us some notes. So I just want to acknowledge them.
Let me tell some other
OnlyFans is good. OnlyFans is a good thing. Decide if this is your business, personal or hobby thing. Thank you so much for recapping. I love that.
Yes.
Love that. I just wanted to thank them. So here's the thing. I think OnlyFans is good. I wouldn't consider it crowdfunding, but I do think it's good. And yes, you should get on there. I know you're doing everything. I'm doing other things too, but yes, OnlyFans is a way to go. And anything that's going to help bring you money, you should be interested in. I have I reserve my name on almost all platforms. So, but the bigger platforms that give you money, you're going to pay more attention to. So
Okay.
you want to make sure that that happens.
Okay. On that's a let's see. Somebody else is Ari. Hey Ari.
Okay.
Um, because I
OnlyFans is for other big. You guys crying. Well, it's for other business. Well, listen, I'm gonna tell you, there's a crowdfunding site that women who want to get boob implants can get on. And so these people, I don't know what you get for giving them money, but that site is going strong. So it's a good
wow.
crowdfunding site. So I totally get it. But we don't want to poo-poo OnlyFans because I do think there's a place for that. I'm not gonna, sell my toe pictures and my socks, but you could legitimately sell stuff there too. So
Yeah.
just remember that.
Wow, that's awesome. And in so many ways, like just I know we were just laughing about it, like for breast implants, but people are getting money for just and they're raising money for just the simplest things or the things you wouldn't even think of. So if they can do it, so can you as an entrepreneur
Absolutely.
and have so many different methods. So my main question right now is how are you balancing this crowdfunding expert, the TV show? We haven't gotten to the TV show yet. The giving back and being a physician at the same time.
So I haven't seen patients in years. So I don't have to worry about that because I'm not
Okay.
currently seeing patients. Um, the how do I balance the three? Now, I was doing TV since the year 2000. I've had my own TV show on TV since the year 2000. So I've been doing that for quite a long time. When I started with the crowdfunding, that was sort of like a different tribe, and I didn't really realize it. I mean, I was teaching and doing my thing.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, it's bark hour here at home.
That's okay. It would be the same here in my house, but I gave them treats and put them up in the room.
Exactly. Right, that 5 to 6 hour, that's the sun's going down, and I don't know, they have to tell everybody something.
Yeah.
So the deal is that I was developing the crowdfunding, and I realized kind of years later there was almost like two separate tribes. Like the people who knew that did TV didn't know that much about crowdfunding, and some of the crowdfunding people had zero idea that I had a television show because I didn't want to confuse people. And then as things have rotated and progressed, I now have my own Roku channel, my own Apple TV channel, and my own Amazon TV channel. And then I help other people get their channels, and I support them behind the scenes, and I also teach them how to monetize them because it's not just getting out there, but monetizing it. Once you get on your own platform and you begin to take control, you realize you got to make money. Everybody's out there trying to build their YouTube channel. Well, you don't own YouTube. And as soon as YouTube tells you they don't want you anymore, you're going to be out, And just remember, if it's free, you're the product. If it's free, you're the product. So YouTube is out there making tons of money off of you before you'll ever get a dime from them. And YouTube is proof that everybody wants to have their own TV show. Because if you have a YouTube channel, that's what you're really saying. And I was saying back in the year 2000, everybody in the future, everybody was going to have their own TV show. I did not know it was going to be YouTube because YouTube wasn't out then.
Right.
I didn't know it was going to be streaming and all that. I didn't know what it was going to be, but I knew people and things were going to have their own TV shows. And so TV, and now it's streaming, streaming television is so important to getting your message out that you really cannot exclude it. You can take your podcast that is on a podcast station and also repurpose it and have it playing on your own Roku, Amazon, or Apple TV channel. And so there you don't have the same restrictions. It's not social media. So you don't have to fight the algorithm and trick people into seeing it. You just send them to it and they just watch it.
Yeah.
It's evergreen material there. So I think the two crowds are beginning to come together, but not intentionally. I kind of look at them as two separate crowds. They're two separate tribes. They're all my tribe, but they're two separate tribes.
Yeah. But then it's like it can support each other. It's like a good ecosystem that you have between the two.
Absolutely.
Yes. I just love this conversation. Oh my goodness. So let's talk about a little bit before we leave. Let's talk about, and if anybody else have any questions, definitely throw them in the chat and we'll acknowledge them. Hey, Brooke. Brooke is up here.
Hi, Brooke. Thank you so much, Brooke.
Yes, Brooke is so awesome. The question I had, just lost it. Oh, so you're giving back.
Oh,
And
philanthropy. Okay.
yes. Let's talk about that a little bit, because that's really a good thing when business owners can really just step back from their day-to-day life and give back to other people who really need the service. You know,
Absolutely.
yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, you have to give a shout out to Angela Leonard and Carlia. Carlia's last name is Oldfather, but she's on Facebook as Carlia Perez. Those are the two women that have really taught me, mentored me, really showed me what it is. I've been helping them with stuff and learning from them, and then having them really just really like nitty gritty. When I go need nitty gritty information, they're there for it. So I've always been doing this. Right now, what I'm doing is that we do a little relief packs. There are Ziploc bags with black socks, shampoo, soap, a toothbrush. And I got donated, disposable toothbrush, toothpaste, lotion. We put a little bit of money in there so they can get something to eat. Food cards are good, but if you give it to somebody who's really rough and dirty, McDonald's is not going to let them stand in the lobby with everybody else. So having those little gift cards sometimes is not helpful for them. They need to be able to, go into a 7-Eleven and get what they need and get out. And we here do outreach where I guess I have this thing now where I can see unhoused everywhere I go. Like it's like, oh, we see here. There's a field not far from my home, and I live in an affluent area, but it hasn't been. I guess they were going to build on it, but they didn't build on it, and it has this groove. And I just happened to be. I wasn't looking for anything, but I just happened to be looking that direction, driving by, and I see in the groove tents. I literally can see unhoused people like everywhere. And so I have these bags in the car that I can give out. If there's somebody by the freeway saying, I need some help, I hand it to them. There's hand sanitizer in there too, all of that stuff in there. And so we're about giving relief. I'm also supported by Dame Doria Cordova and her foundation. They make a contribution every month, and I get out there and do it. So at this point, we just need contributions because we're getting what we need and we're getting out there every week, just handing that out. And it's just something I can see. I was actually in Miami with some Freds, not they weren't named Fred. Was named Fred. Maria Simone and Chad, they invited me to come to a conference with them. I did. I was in Miami and, just getting the cab into the hotel. I'm seeing right now. So Maria and I were just sitting in the lobby. We were talking about her business and throwing out some ideas and working some things out. And this couple came up. He had a big pizza box, 2 pizza boxes. And they're like, hey, you want a slice of pizza? And we're like, it's 10:30, but yeah, sure, okay. And so what it was is that they had a party and this was leftover food and they were trying to. So Maria said, because I wasn't even thinking along this line, but she said, so what are you going to do with the rest of the food? And they said, oh, we're going to go out in the streets and give it to the homeless. Now he has on a suit and his beautiful shoes. She has a beautiful dress and high heels. It's 10:30 at night and I'm looking at them and I can just, this movie's not going to go well. So I said, hey, do you mind if I give you a little bit of coaching? And I told them what my background is. And I said, I know exactly where there are some homeless people that you can give the food to. I said, it will take us 5 minutes to walk there and 5 minutes back. Would you like me to go with you and help? They were like, oh, sure. So I told Maria, if we're not back in 50 minutes, call the police. But it's all good. They're right there. And literally one of the most beautiful hotels in Miami on the river. You walk down their, driveway and there's a freeway overhang. It happened to be lit, pretty dry, and there were people in there. And that's where I took them. I didn't take them to a dark, deep corner. Take them to a drug den. I took them right there where people are just trying to sleep and get along. And I said, hey, we have some extra food for the party. Is it okay if we give it to you? And they said, sure, we're hungry. He's eating beans out of a can. And the guy actually was. That sounds like he was literally holding a can.
Right.
A can. So I turn around to say, hey, they're way back. I think when it got real, it played out one way when it got real. So I said, come on, I wanted to show her the box that there's no shenanigans going on. So I opened the box, it's chicken and pizza. Is that okay? Yes. So I said, okay, give it to her. They put it on the ground and were scooting it. So I wouldn't just picked up the pizza. I walked over to the main lady that was, talking for everybody, and
Right.
let her break it up however she needs to break it up. A lot of these are communities that share.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people say they don't want to get off the street, they don't want to leave their community because it's very mobile. If
Yeah.
she goes into a shelter for 2 weeks because they only let you stay for 2 or 3 weeks, and then she comes back out, her people are gone, and now she's vulnerable and out there. So when they say
Yeah.
homeless people don't want to get off the streets, no, they don't want to be temporarily put someplace and then put back out on the street. Like that's not healthy. That's when you don't have anybody. So anyway, the main thing is that we gave them the food. Those people were still talking about that so long that I was at a whole different event, and I was talking to somebody. I introduced myself and I said, "Hey, I'm Dr. Wright." And she said, "Are you from California?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "So you were help feeding the hungry people in Miami?" I'm like, were you in Miami? She's like, "No, I was over here." And I like, okay. So they were very excited about the opportunity to even participate in that. So it's fun to do that. I am not the person that goes into the deep dark woods to get people. I know people like that. God bless them. That's not me. I go out in the daytime, and I used to have these bright tennis shoes that had rhinestones on them, and so I used to go to this one park, and the guy said, "You bringing us food with your little sparkly shoes? We knew you were gonna bring some food." I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna know my little sparkly shoes." So the people are all around us, even if
Yeah.
it's a very affluent area, and right now we just want to give. It's I I have we have a website on Give Butter where people can give, and we
Yeah.
just want to really give relief because homelessness is a complicated issue,
Yeah.
and but I do really feel strongly that we have to pay attention to that. We cannot just continue to let people be homeless. And there's what we call McKinney-Vento homeless is where people are living in hotels. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
they're not on the street, but if you're living in a hotel with your whole family, that is still homelessness or
Mm-hmm.
unhoused. You got to have your own house. They have a home, their little hut in the street, but we want to give them
Right.
their own housing. So
Yeah.
I've just always loved that work. It's just worked out for me. I've just been able to make calls to my business friends like you and say, "Hey, can I make a quick presentation to your group? I need to raise money for this." They allow me to do it, and people can give, and it's just awesome.
I love that. I love it. I mean, and it's such a joy with that. You feel when your heart is leading you in that way. I mean, because you really have to be open enough, not just open-minded, but have an open heart to really even want to be led to do that. Because we pass people all day long. We drive past people, sometimes you might have the thought like, oh, I don't know if they're scamming or, but it's just like sometimes you just have to give because some of these people, they, probably just a week ago, they could have had their own home. And like in this day and time right now, so many things are happening, like especially with COVID. You have a lot of people with issues with their mortgage, their rent, just anything can happen. It's like you're one step away. Anybody can be one step away.
Anybody can be one step away, and the deal is that I just give the bags and I say, "Hey, hope this can help," and I put the money side up, and I watch them. They're like, like they won't open it in front of me. So I just say, "Hope this can help." And I walk away.
Yeah.
I don't sit and chat. I don't go for a hug. I don't do any of that.
Yeah.
I don't wait for a thank you. They don't have to say thank you. That's not what I'm here for. And I believe that I'm being led as to who to give it to. So I don't have to worry about, oh, they're going to use that money to shoot up.
Yeah.
They're not going to get high with the money I gave them. They're just going to get the stuff. They ain't gonna get high with it. So I really believe that I'm very much led to help people. I don't spend any time struggling with how they will use the money. That's between God. God told me to do what I'm doing, gave me helpers to help me do it. So I literally am able to just get out there and do it.
Yeah, I love it. So, and then like with this show right here, anybody that watching now or later or whenever you see it, definitely your contact information is all on the and I'll make sure even more information is out here regarding you and your business. But you can give a donation, go ahead and connect with Dr. Letitia and help out, or even use the ideas from what she's talked about to go out and help out yourself and in your own local community. That was a good idea, just having the Ziploc bags, just with little hygiene. I mean, you could go in just the toiletry section and buy the little travel stuff and just put in a Ziploc bag. And that's just so easy and simple, you know, and just the little things that you could do to help go a long way.
And it gives them something to help keep their things dry. One thing about people is that within the first 3 weeks, they're usually robbed of everything they have. Now, not only do they not have a mailing address, but they don't have an ID. So they can't go get services because they don't have ID. It's such a complicated thing. And so you really, the Ziploc bag, they can reuse for other things.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I said Dr. Letitia. I'm like all in. I was getting all tongue-tied and everything.
So that's fine.
You know, this has been so wonderful. I really love this conversation. I would love to go on and on and on and on, but you know, I know everybody out there is like, okay, now we gotta get ready to do other things. But
thank you so much.
I don't care. But I just thank you so much. I'm gonna put your information up here. And let's see, find it here because I did have everything. Because you're everywhere. You're on LinkedIn, you're on TikTok, you're on Facebook. And yeah, you guys definitely go ahead and follow her, get in contact, just looking into crowdfunding for a lot. I know there's a lot of business owners who are starting up out there, as well as those who are struggling, trying to get funding for their businesses. Definitely contact. She is the person to talk to get it all started and set up. And I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. If there's any final words of wisdom you want to give everyone, definitely here's your time.
I just want to say, keep your dream going. If money is the issue, just consider crowdfunding. Everything doesn't have to be built on loans and everything just yet, or business credit just yet. You might be still building. But just remember, most people's businesses don't actually go into the black and start making business till about 3 years. So if you've been struggling for a year, it's okay. You're not less than anybody else. You're not doing worse than anybody else. It's just a natural part of the cycle. A lot of the times people are telling you to pattern yourself off of someone who had a bigger help when they first started. People say, well, remember Jeff Bezos started off in his mom's garage. His parents gave him $300,000. Yeah. So just understand, all of these little stories about success people, they may not have started at your level. They maybe couldn't have started at your level. And so don't focus on how bad things are. Focus on the vision and keep walking towards the light.
Love it. I love it. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for everybody who chimed in the chat. I love you all. Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Letitia. This has been wonderful. We're going to have you come back again. I really enjoyed it.
Anytime, and I will make sure my calendar is correct.
Look, we made it, so we're here. That's all that matters.
What's going on today? It's a long story. But
no worries.
I'm so glad I was able to be with you. And again, congratulations on your book and your launch and the DR. We're going to have to talk about that. I might have to come see you. So, yeah.
Just stay back for a second, okay? Everybody, thank y'all so much for watching tonight. And to remember to command your day and everything you do, be great. And we'll see you next week. Bye.